This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
We've seen in the past couple seasons now, really, they've taken hold of college football. They did an unbelievable job. This is a young football team. This isn't an old football team with a bunch of guys losing. Now, listen, the NFL can take its chunk out of any.
It was David Pollack speaking on ESPN, and I think he said that right in front of Nick Saban, who was in the studio as well. Studio being, right there at the stadium. Bill King's with us. Bill, it's obvious who the best team in college football was this past year. There was one undefeated team, and Georgia left no doubt against TCU on Monday night. And it sounds like they're primed for the future and a potential three-peat in a lot of people's minds. When you watched that game on Monday and knowing what they had to replace from the year before, what are you seeing in the future for Georgia too?
Oh, it's right, but Kirby also said he thinks it'll be harder with everybody back, or with a good chunk of people back, because it's hard to get the buy-in. When you have a situation where you have a bunch of people back who participated and had direct, abilities in that ball game, then it's hard to convince them. We got to start, and here's another metaphor he uses, we got to start back to eating off the floor. That's hard to do. And he knows this because he's been at Alabama when they've tried to do it. And they did it in 11 and 12, and they're still mad that they didn't do it in 13 when you had the kick six and all that. It's hard. And he said it was easy this year because you had so many people leave, so many people back that didn't participate much, that they bought in. So, look, guys, they're clearly the favorite again. Their schedule is not invasive at all. They've got to go to Tennessee, to Auburn. That's about it. And they're not going to lose any of those games, I don't think. So they're the odds-on favorite to do something that I think it's Minnesota back in the 1930s did, and that's win 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's tough. And Bill, the thing that we don't want to understate is that quarterback play. I know they got a lot of talent everywhere, and I get it. It's easier to play when you got a lot of talent, but you got to replace that quarterback, and he's been through it. He's had the reps. He's been through the battles. So that's going to be important when you get a new quarterback, and then they do get in a battle. Has he made plays yet? And it'd be interesting. Do we know who will be Georgia's quarterback next year?
There's a 4-star, and then there's 2 5-stars that have been sitting there. The 4-star is going to be a third-year sophomore.
So he's got some age to him. Yeah.
It out. I'm sorry.
I was saying, so he has some age to him. He's not a true freshman coming in off at a high school.
No. He's a third-year kid, and then they have 2 5-stars that are behind him. One will be a redshirt freshman, and one will be a freshman. So, no, they're in good shape there, and you got to remember, last year they tried to get with all those players back, including Stetson Bennett. They went hard after Caleb Williams. I mean, they went hard after him. They weren't going to get him because I think the deal was always going to be Southern Cal, but they tried very hard there. I don't think they're doing anything in the portal, and I don't think there's anything left in the portal that they would be interested in. But, they got the best tight end coming back. He's just a true sophomore, and they always have a good offensive line. A good chunk of that defense is back. The best defensive player, and I think the best player in America, is gone, Jalen Carter. But they're loaded up, guys. And, of course, and now they're doing a little bit more in the portal. They took a really good receiver, Dominic Lovett, out of Missouri. They took another receiver, Ra Thomas, out of Mississippi State. So they've been doing that.
Anybody in the East that can hang with Georgia? Is Georgia pretty? I mean, I looked at their schedule as well. It doesn't look like that's going to be too tough, and they've only lost 3 games in the last 3 years, and 2 of those were to Bama.
Tennessee would be the only team, and they've got a new quarterback, Joe Milton, who's not new, but we've got to watch him play. Played well in the bowl game, give him that. And then they've got a superstar freshman, this Nico Iamaleava kid, but you don't want to throw something on a freshman until you see it. And the only team that slowed Tennessee down at all this year, and they slowed them down, they stopped them pretty much, was Georgia. Tennessee did not match up well with Georgia at all. Tennessee's offense did not get much done at all. Every other game they played, they had their way with the other team's defense. And we'll see if they can improve on that this year. I wouldn't. Right now, Georgia would be a double-digit favorite in every one of those games.
Who from the East do you think can challenge here? I mean, LSU is a surprise division champion. The theory was Alabama took a step back and took a couple of really close one-score losses on the road. Is it Alabama above everybody else, or do you see possibly another surprise East Division or West Division title?
I think it's Alabama 1, LSU 2. That LSU offense came a million miles through this season. And with Jaden Daniels settling down, and he's back, and they've got good depth behind him, too, that offense ought to be even better. Keyshawn Boutte is gone, which actually is addition by subtraction because he just wanted to be a diva the whole time. And I think they're going to be better on defense. They had some problems. They thinned out on the defensive line, had some trouble in the secondary. Guys, they've taken 4 listed cornerbacks. LSU has in the transfer portal. Obviously, you can't get 4 of them out there, but they've taken 4 listed cornerbacks. So obviously, they wanted to upgrade there. But I think Alabama won. Ty Simpson is going to be the quarterback. He's out of Jackson, Tennessee. He's a former 5-star. He was offered by Michigan when he was in 7th grade, and his dad is the coach at UT Martin, the head coach there in Jackson, Tennessee, Martin, Tennessee at UT Martin. So this kid grew up. He's got a big arm. He's athletic. So I think they'll be in really good shape. They'll be in good shape running back. They got to be better at receiver. And they've taken a portal tight end out of Maryland. The tight end was a need for them. So they've taken what might be the number 1 recruit in America out of Florida, Keon Keeley, a big 6'6" defensive end who probably starts or rotates immediately. You got to go with them number 1. Yeah, for sure in the West.
Around the college football landscape, is it still the same as far as Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Clemson? Is there somebody else you see outside the SEC other than those kind of blue bloods that are going to make a jump like TCU did this year? Was kind of your Cinderella story?
No, I don't. And I didn't think TCU would either.
Right.
So obviously somebody could emerge. Penn State, watch out for them. They went 11-2. They got a lot of really good talent that played this last year, young players. This kid they're bringing in, Drew Aller, the quarterback, was the backup to Sean Clifford. He's way better ability-wise than Sean Clifford. He's a former 5-star. They're loaded at running back. They've got speed. They played really good on defense this year. Watch out for them. That's going to be – I'll tell you what, the Big Ten East can rival the SEC West with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. That's 3 really nasty teams there. And I think another lesson we learned, guys, is I think the committee got it right, but it's also a lesson that until proven otherwise, the chalk's always going to win these things. And when we go to 12, there'll be teams that get in that would never have gotten in before. So I guess that's good, but they're not going to win it. This notion that a St. Peter's in football could upset Alabama is just crazy. It's not March Madness, and it's not going to be.
Is Harbaugh? So I mean, you mentioned about Michigan and the Big Ten East. Harbaugh, this dalliance with the NFL is it's an annual thing. I mean, how many years do you see him sticking around here at Michigan? I mean, at first it was he can't beat Ohio State. Well, he's done it 2 years in a row. Now can't get to the national title game. Who knows if that'll happen? Do you see him long for Michigan, or do you see him heading out sometime soon?
Very simple. If he gets an NFL offer, I think he's gone. I think he's absolutely gone. I don't think there's any debate. And he may get an offer. There's talk about maybe Denver, and I don't know all the opportunities that are out there because I'm not much of an NFL guy. But
does that change the pecking order in that division? Does that change the pecking order, of which, right now it's Michigan 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3. Does that change if Harbaugh is gone? I mean, it took him a while to put Michigan up at the top of that division.
I think it probably would. Yeah, I think it probably would. The chances of you replacing Harbaugh with somebody that can maintain what he's now got going there, even at a brand like Michigan, the odds are not with you. Now, they'll be good. They'll be good. They'll be a threat, but we're talking about the pecking order 1, 2, 3. I think that probably would change back to Ohio State.
Yeah, I wondered too about Florida State. I looked at the Vegas odds, and they had Florida State about 3rd or 4th to win the national title. I don't know if I'm a believer yet. Are you a believer in Florida State?
No, not that level. Now they are better, and I think they're, for the first time in almost 10 years, they're a threat. Probably back to 13 and 14 when they won it and then got to the semifinals that the first year in 14.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not on that level. No, they're not. They're not top 5. Could they be top 10? I think so. Jordan Travis, the quarterback, who is another quarterback who's come a million miles, is back, and he has become a wicked threat. They have good running backs, good receivers. Jared Verse, who they got out of a tiny college a year ago in the transfer portal, who's a first-round draft pick, is coming back, which is a huge shock. He's a terrific defensive end. And, guys, they've taken 9 in the portal, including the number 1 D tackle that everybody wanted out of Western Michigan, this Braden Fisk kid. He's a big body that'll go in the interior for them. They're going to be a threat to unseat Clemson. I don't know if I'd be willing to bet you a bunch on it, but they are the most threatening they've been in quite some time.
What do you think of Arkansas's offseason so far? You know, they've lost a lot in the portal. They've also gained 8 transfers, including this wide receiver, Isaac Tesla, from Division II Hillsdale. He's been, he got offers from a ton of big-time programs right now. But from your perspective, where do you see Arkansas fitting into the SEC West? And I ask that question knowing they're not done in the transfer portal, and then we do this portal thing all over again after spring ball.
Good additions. Yeah, and receivers, man, can come from everywhere. It doesn't matter. Some of these fans think that if you didn't have high school rankings, then what's the point? Well, those rankings don't matter anymore. What you've done in college matters now, right? And they've got impact guys coming in, but here's the problem. Again, you're in the wicked West, SEC West, and who are you jumping? You're not jumping Alabama or LSU. You don't have better players than A&M. Now, A&M just went 5-7, so I understand the debate there. And you're probably even with Ole Miss. You're better than Mississippi State, I think, coming up, and I don't like the hire Mississippi State made. So it's going to be tough. The ultimate question is, you did add some nice pieces to the roster, but did that change your position in that division? And I don't know that I can make that claim.
Not a fan of Mississippi State sticking with Zach Barnett as the head coach?
Oh, no. That's got I'd say about 100% failure rate attached to it. It's a very difficult job. Now, that guy might turn out to be a really good coach. Okay, so it's not trying to demean him. Mississippi State's the toughest gig in the West, frankly. Now, you can win some there. I saw Jackie Sherrill win some there. We saw Dan Mullen win some there. Mike Leach had some nice wins, but it's still a very difficult gig. And I think taking somebody on that staff, the defensive coordinator, and handing it to him, when Mike Leach was the coach and you had that implemented, I don't see any way that's a good idea.
Yeah, it would seem the way you're putting it makes a lot of sense. Bill, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on with us on this Wednesday. Thanks for your time, and let's do it again next week.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio.
Bill, it's tricky. I think with that Mississippi State situation right there, I like the fact that they kept it in-house, but they weren't expecting that. It kind of came out of nowhere, and they didn't want to do something I don't think anything to sink the ship, so they kept it in-house and trying to get OC. Does he last long? I don't know, but I do agree with Bill that Mississippi State job in football might be the hardest job in the SEC West.
Well, and I think NIL is a piece of it, but man, I mean, if you look throughout the years of SEC football, Starkville has usually been the toughest place to recruit players to. And it even gets the same with NIL potentially right now.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.